Hello everybody and welcome back to another CTF challenge. Here we have the Wgel, not sure how to say it, but we have another CTF challenge from TryHackMe, and I really enjoyed this box because it's really unique in the sense that we are using a leaked RSA key to SSH into the system and then from there we find out that the user that we SSH into has sudo privileges for the binary wget. With this binary, we can completely replace the etc shadow file with our own version of the file and then escalate our privileges to root. So it's a pretty straightforward and simple box, but I thought it was awesome. So without further ado, let's close Premiere Pro and let's get straight into the box. So we have our IP here and we can do nmap -sc for scripts, -sv for version, and then you can output it to a file. I already did that, and this might take a while to run, so I already ran it. And as you can see, we have two open ports. We have 22 being SSH and 80 being HTTP. So nothing too crazy here. Pretty simple, and that's what I do enjoy a lot about these TryHackMe boxes. Full screen this real quick. There you go. What I really enjoy about the TryHackMe boxes is that they're really straightforward in the sense that there's only two open ports and there's not a lot you can get distracted by. Um, Sometimes in Hack the Box, there'll be a bunch of rabbit holes that you can fall down that I don't really enjoy. So I really enjoy these pretty straightforward boxes. But without further ado, we know that we have port 80 open, so let's go to that IP and see what's up. Only a default Apache page. Let's see. Let's run GoBuster on this and look for any hiding, any subdirectories that might be hiding. And while that's running, how many threads am I? I'm gonna increase my threads to like 50. And while it's running, let's check out the source code here and see if there's anything. We're basically just looking for comments. Okay. Okay, so this is new. So it says, Jessie, don't forget to update the website, with a few misspellings, but you know, they tried. So Jessie, we can't really do anything with that right now, but let's uh let's see what GoBuster. Let's keep this in mind, keep this in the back of our head, and then let's see what GoBuster got for us. So index.html, which should just be this same web page. Yeah, it is. Server status, which we don't have access to, and then sitemap, which we do have access to. So here is sitemap. Let's full screen and take a look at this. Get premium. Okay, that's just not a thing. Some images of what the app does. So right now I'm just looking in the bottom left of my screen for any links that these buttons are going to interact with. So like, let's see. I wonder if there's like I'm sure there's a contact page. Contact, yeah. So whenever I'm doing web application testing and CTFs with web applications, you always want to look for, the first thing I look for is tests like this, where we can input information um, and like send a message. Because if you think about it, if we put in some like test at test.com, test, blah, blah, blah. When we input this information and click send message, somewhere our message is going to be received, somewhere within the back end of the server. So if there's no filtering on this message, then in theory, we can put some malicious code in here, like a reverse shell or maybe like cross-site scripting, anything of that nature. And it can call back to our local machine and we can get a reverse shell. So that's what I always try to do. So you could test this out. It allows you to send it, but nothing really happens. I tested this out before. It sends the information, but it doesn't really send it to anywhere. Like nothing really receives the information. It sort of just refreshes the page in a way. It is interesting up here that it displays the message, but let's keep exploring our website here. And in the meantime, it's good to run another, let's run another GoBuster on sitemap. We'll always be doing active reconnaissance. So, what did that just say? Oh, okay. So this is really interesting. So we have a .ssh and a bunch of other stuff that GoBuster is returning. But the main thing that I want to look at here is .ssh. All right. So awesome. So we have an RSA file. So if you're not familiar with what this file is, this is basically a private key that allows you to SSH into a server without needing a password. This is essentially just replacing a password because it's, in a sense, more secure because it's it's a private key. You're not going to be able to brute force this like you would a password. So we have a leaked private key here, and let's write that down real quick. Let's nano ID RSA and paste that in there. And what you can do with SSH is, like I said, you can log into a specific user not needing a password if you have this RSA key. So if you remember, we have a user that we can do. We have Jessie. Jessie might be our user for this RSA key. So let's try that out. So your command is going to be SSH and then our user in lowercase, which is Jessie at, oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's try again. SSH Jessie at, what's our IP? That's our IP. Jessie at 10.10.221.193, then -I ID RSA. Yes. Oh, unprotected. Okay. So before we do that, I always forget to do this. I feel so silly. So since SSH is expecting this key to be completely private and only the only Jessie in this case should have access to this key, it's going to have certain permissions that protect it. Certain read-write permissions that protect it, so no one else but Jessie can read it. So we need to give it certain permissions. So we can do chmod 600 ID RSA, and that gives it the permissions it needs so SSH doesn't get angry at us when we try to run this command. So let's run it again, and it should work this time. Lovely. All right. So this is our initial foothold. If we do ls cd into, probably in documents. Yeah, so there is our user flag. All right, so we got our initial foothold, which is lovely through that leaked SSH key. Now, the first step to escalating privileges that I love to do is just run a simple sudo -l. And this is going to check what permissions Jessie is going to have on the system of corp1. And we see he can run root with no password on the wget binary. Now, this is really interesting because whenever you see the USR binary directory and followed by something, that usually means it's going to be exploitable by GTFOBins. Like if we look up, there's a ton, like there's all of these different binaries that you can look up and get exploits for. Wget is one of them. We go sudo and we see we can do this and get root privileges, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do this version of privilege escalation. There's something a lot cooler that I want to show you all. So I followed this wget, I think it was this one. This website, yes. So this article is super cool. And we're basically just modifying the Etsy shadow file. So like if we try to cat Etsy shadow, we're not going to be able to because we don't have permissions. Permission denied. That file shows all of the users on the box and their hashed passwords. It's similar to the Etsy passwd, but it's, let's grep sh. So we know there's these three users on the, or these two users on the box. There's root and Jessie. But we can modify the Etsy shadow password locally and then download that local file that we made. It's almost like we're forging a new Etsy shadow password. And then since we have sudo privileges for wget, we can take that file from our local system and replace the file on the box and then switch passwords to root. So I don't know if I explained that very well, but it'll be a lot easier just to show you guys. So let's see here. So let's cd wgel. Okay. So with this, we need to get the content first of the original Etsy shadow file. So on our attacking machine, we're going to listen. And then let's copy this. And our local IP is 10.2.113.254. So what this is doing is it's again using that wget binary that we have sudo access to, and it's using the post function, like HTTP function. It's taking the file already on the system and sending it to, what the heck did I just do? And it's sending it to our local machine, which is already listening. So let's do that real quick. Connection failed. Oh, okay. I need a colon here, I believe. There we go. And as you can see, this is the Etsy shadow file on this box. So let's Control C, and there we go. So now we have, let's make our shadow.txt, and let's copy all of this and paste it into this file. All right. So now that we have this machine, Corp1, we'll call it Corp1's machines, we have the Etsy shadow file. Our next step is going to be to edit this root line with our own password so we can switch users and get root on the box with a password that we know. So let's do that. I believe the article says to use, so yeah, we're copy pasting, OpenSSL SWD. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we need. So with this, we are creating a, oops, I don't think I need that. So with this command, we're basically creating a hash for the root user. We're using like almost creating like a new password for the root user. And so when we transfer this file back onto Jessie's system, we're going to know that our password is going to be password. So we can simply use the su command, switch user, and switch to root because we know that what the password is. So now we're just going to edit our shadow file again and paste in our password right here. And now that we have that, we simply need to sudo wget this file. So let's set up a python 3-m http.server. And then we should just be able to put in our IP 10.2 .113.254 on port 8000, and we're looking for shadow.txt. Want to make sure I get that right though. Okay, and then it's replacing. Okay, let me just copy this file, or this command. We're close. 10.2.113.254. So what this command's going to do is we're going to use wget to call to our makeshift Python server here on this IP on this port, as you can see, and it's going to grab this shadow.txt file, and then it's going to output it and replace the file that's already in etc shadow on the corp1 machine. So let's run this, and there we go. So the file's now been transferred. We don't have permissions to view the file because we're not sudo, but we know what's in the file. We know that this is the file we just transferred, and this is the file that's now on Jessie's machine. So all we can do is just do sudo su to switch to the root user, or I guess not. I'll we do su root, and we know that our password is password because we know that this hash equates to password right here. So let's copy and paste, enter, or not. Su root. Try again. Password. Wonder what is going wrong. Su root. Let's see. Hit 200, okay. Let's see, shadow. It looks like it's saved. Root. Password. BI entered. That should be right. Let's see. Let's compare this to our article. So root, then our salts, then everything else. That looks right. That's here. Let's try again. Password is password. Maybe let's try this whole process again. So that should have worked. Fair. Get shadow.txt. This file is called shadow.txt, right? Did I skip any steps? We got the local contents here. We replace this with our password. Is there like a weird spacing issue maybe? I know shadow. Oh, maybe there's a space there. Maybe that's what messed it up. So, what if I su root and password with a space? No? Let's try doing this again and transferring the file again. And let's copy paste nano shadow.txt. This bigger, see everything. Edit this. Paste. Save. And now let's send to 1000 Python. We're looking for shadow.txt and we are outputting to Etsy shadow. All right, run it. All right, looks good. So now if we su root password, there we go. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work before. It must have been something with the spacing um, in the shadow file at first, but yeah. So now we have root, as you can see, if we cd to root, we have our root flag. So I hope you guys enjoyed this box. Apologies for the little hiccup there at the end, but that's gonna happen. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this really cool box. It was pretty straightforward, but I did not know you could do this with wget. I thought it was, I mean, it makes sense, but it's a cool use for sure, and a vulnerability I didn't even think about before I encountered this box. So yeah, I hope you guys all learned something, and I will see you next one. Have a good day. Happy hacking.